fake money, fake teachers, fake assets. In 1971, President Richard Nixon took the U.S. dollar off the gold standard, turning the U.S. dollar into fiat money, government money, fake money. In 2008, the world economy crashed when fake assets, fake mortgages, and fake financial experts led us down a path to ruin. Think about this. Why do schools choose not to teach us about money? Why are 78% of all Americans living paycheck to paycheck? Why are students staggering under $1 trillion in student loan debt? Because a fake world makes the rich richer and the poor and middle class poorer, and that's exactly how the government wants it. The only way to protect yourself is to learn how to separate the real from the fake. Go to RichDad.com to get your copy of Fake by Robert Kiyosaki and learn how to spot the manipulation of reality we live with every day. Don't get fooled again. Get your copy of Fake by Robert Kiyosaki at RichDad.com. That's RichDad.com.
This is the Rich Dad Radio Show. The good news and bad news about money. Here's Robert Kiyosaki.
Hello. It's Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show, the good news and bad news about money. And today we have a very important show for all of you entrepreneurs and social entrepreneurs and where people just want to make a few more bucks. It's a very important show. And of course, today's program is about social media. One of the nastiest words in the news today. I mean, God, I can't believe how much misinformation is out there. We just interviewed Roger McNamee, who wrote the book Zucked, and he talks about how Facebook gets paid more for misinformation than for real information. So, it's a very important show because if Facebook is now taking a hit, what's next? What's next is the question. And today on the Rich Dad Radio Show, we have what's next. Very, very important for all you entrepreneurs, especially you entrepreneurs who are entrepreneurs on the fly. It's sitting in your back pocket or your purse. It's called your cell phone. And you can make money from anywhere in the world, talk to everybody throughout the world. You don't need to call the New York Times or Forbes or Fortune magazine. If you're not making a lot of money today, it's because you're like me. You're obsolete. I'm more than obsolete, man. I am beyond obsolete, if you can get that. So we're talking about social media today, which I know nothing about, which is a good thing. So I'm going to be listening like you and learning because I'm one of the old guys out there. So today our guest is Zach Benson. And he's a founder and CEO of Assistagram. Oh, Instagram's Assistagram. I don't even know what Instagram is. That's how bad I am. I'm trying to figure out tweeting. If the president tweets, maybe I should tweet too. But as a real estate guy, I don't need to know any of that stuff. Just send me my checks. But anyway, it's called Assistagram. He's the CEO of it. To back me up, we have Shane Caniglia, who is the president of the Rich Dad Company. And, of course, my sweetheart, Kim. So it's going to be a very interesting show. For all you entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs, there's a guy sitting in the cubicle right now going, what happened to my life? How come I'm stuck behind this little cube and everybody else is cruising around the world making millions? So for those of you who are stuck in that cube, this show is especially important for you. Comments, Kim?
Yeah, well, this is going to be a great show because I get to learn too, right along with you, Robert, because, no matter how long you've been in business, if you're new to business, we've been in business with the Rich Dad Company 22 years. And every company you got to market, every company you got to sell. And so for Robert and me, the tools have changed so dramatically that, we used to make a little cassette and give it away for free if you'd give us your name and your address. That's how far back we go.
I'm so
right?
old I use payphones.
So now there's all these new tools of social media, of Instagram, of Facebook, of everything. And we're going to talk about that today because I don't understand how it all works. And I don't understand how you make a lot of money or you sell or you market yourself through it. So that's what we're going to talk about. So the new tools are in town.
And to back me up and come up is Shane Caniglia, the president of the Rich Dad, and he's our techie in the company. He's taken Rich Dad out of the agrarian age into the information age. So, Shane, would you introduce Zach, but also why, as Zach Benson being founder and CEO of Assistagram, why is this important to Rich Dad as a company?
Sure. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Kim. It's good to be on the show today. This is always fun. So Rich Dad is always searching for the latest and greatest in terms of the ways, to Kim's point, the way we can market and promote, but most importantly, communicate to our community.
Because you have to keep looking, don't
Yeah,
you?
it never ends. Now
Changes
it's
so fast.
Yep, it's
You're obsolete so quickly today.
daily. You have to be on top of not just communicating to your community daily. Say that 5 times fast, or also just understanding what these new tools are, and anything from a new rule or new algorithm that Facebook or Instagram puts in place, all the way to the latest and greatest new tool that all of a sudden starts popping up, like the crazy success and climb that something like Snapchat had, for example, where all of a sudden everybody starts using it. So Rich Dad, we try to stay on top of that. So when we were searching for a new partner, Zach came across to us, and one, he's a Rich Dad fan, so that definitely
helps.
crossed
That always
off the
helps.
list. Yep, he knew of Robert and Kim and Rich Dad. And then secondly, we were looking for a new way to get our message out for domestic growth. That was a big opportunity for us. We wanted to strengthen our relationship with Facebook and Instagram, and we just don't have the relationships that somebody like Zach does. And lastly, Zach helps us with the newest tools and newest technology that those platforms put out, that there's just no way for us to keep that talent in place and to keep up with it. So Zach fit all 3 of those criteria, so we're happy to have him on board.
And Zach travels the world assisting older companies, which are 2 years old now,
Or younger.
to stay current. So welcome to the program, Zach.
Welcome, Zach.
Thanks for having me, guys. Super excited to be here.
So how about a little bit of background? I mean, how'd you get into this business?
Yeah, so I was actually born in South Korea, then adopted by my parents in Iowa, so I grew up there. Pretty much a quiet boy. I was very shy. I had a speech impediment. Couldn't say the letter R until I was in my 20s. And so school was really hard for me. It wasn't a fun time until I found dance. And so I'm telling you that because the same guy that got me into dance also got me onto Instagram.
Are you like that guy who jumps around the stage? What's his name?
Yeah, Sai, or
Sai,
Korean
yeah.
dude.
Boy,
Gangnam Style.
Yeah, Gangman style, exactly.
what do you guys call that stuff?
Yeah.
K-pop.
K-pop, yes. K-pop is taking over the world. I was recently just in Mexico and Nicaragua, and people just came up to me and started speaking in Korean, and I was like, whoa, like, it's worldwide movement. But that's how it all started. So
Well, you were even on Dancing with the Stars, right?
yeah, I was. Yeah, so
Big
I
time,
was.
big
So
time.
know people on there, and then I was participant on So You Think You Can Dance, and then after that, just like my career started to take off, and I taught dance all over the world, and teaching's really my passion, and that's why I got so interested in Instagram, because it became a way for people to promote their products and their services and to just get their story out there. And so nowadays I teach a lot of the major brands and companies in the world, from Daniel Wellington to Ritz-Carlton to a lot of the top marketers in the world.
So Facebook owns Instagram, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference for a guy like me? What's the difference in Instagram and Facebook?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. So Facebook actually acquired Instagram, I think this was like 2012 or something, for $1 billion. A long time ago. And now it's over 1 billion active users. There's over 600 million people actually using Instagram stories every single day. So if you've ever heard of Snapchat, pretty much Instagram made their own platform called Stories, and it's now taken over Snapchat in the world.
It's only been within the last couple years.
Yeah. And the biggest difference is just Instagram. So everybody is always consuming content. Everybody is always scrolling and consuming stuff. So for Instagram, people can just go to this platform and see people's personal experiences from their pictures and the videos that they post up. So it's just a super easy way to just consume their content.
So you go to companies and you work with them on how to best utilize Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and all these things to market and sell to their communities, correct?
Yes, that's exactly what we do. And we mainly focus on Instagram. Just because it's the most engaging and powerful platform in the world right now.
Because it uses pictures?
Yeah, because it's picture and video content like on your phone is the best way to reach people. And so a lot of these companies that are selling products on Amazon, they're now moving over to Instagram just as another platform to make to sell their products.
So how would a Ritz-Carlton utilize Instagram?
Well, Ritz-Carlton has properties all over the world.
We like Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah,
very nice
it's a
properties.
great, very nice hotel. And most recently we created a video for them in Bali to promote their Bali hotel. They have 2 properties out there, and basically their goal is to just get more worldwide travelers coming into their doors. So by helping them create an awesome video, promoting that video on Instagram, we're able to target their ideal customer with that video to actually come and visit that hotel in Bali. So, so that's why
we've been there. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
hotel.
we have been there.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's amazing.
It's gorgeous.
You guys travel a lot too.
We do.
Oh, that's an understatement. How long, for example, I just one quick question so Robert and Kim understand this as well as our audience. How long are the average length of these videos?
Well, the goal is to just pique people's interest, get them to click, watch, and then from that to click follow. So these videos, they anywhere from 15 seconds to a minute long, sometimes
Wow.
even longer. Instagram just came out with what's called IGTV, which is essentially what YouTube is. So you can do longer form content.
So they're competing with YouTube?
Yeah. So they're taking on everybody.
So you just said click to action and then click to follow. So the goal is you click to take action, they watch the video, but the goal then would be that they go to the Instagram Bali Ritz-Carlton page or Ritz-Carlton page and start following them.
Yeah.
And then they can communicate directly with these people, correct? That's
exactly.
the goal.
And then they just get they just see more content from that hotel, and as you know, it just takes multiple exposures before somebody buys something high ticket and spends a lot of money and takes a trip. And so once they're following them, they see that Ritz-Carlton Bali's hotel's content every single day, and it just gets them more excited to visit.
And what makes a video or a photo go viral? Everybody wants their stuff to go viral, or they want them to hit the masses. Is there a formula, or is there a key to it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like the way that we're able to make things go so viral is because we have such a huge network of over 56 million of different accounts. And so one way that we're able to make it go viral is just and this is a tip for anybody who's really on Instagram. We get a bunch of our travel accounts. For example, if we're trying to promote a hotel, we get them to like and sometimes comment on our the video that we want to promote. And when you get a high amount of high quality likes from really huge accounts that have millions of followers in a short window of time, this kind of creates a viral effect in the algorithm so that it boosts you onto the main page that everybody sees when they open up the Instagram application. And once you're on the main page, millions and millions of
Very
people
much like
see it.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Right? So we always wanted that front page, right?
So it's just kind of an engagement algorithm trick by...
and people have such a short attention span that if you get them on that page, there's a better chance that they'll follow that relationship.
So it's
deeper.
almost like a headline on a newspaper, right?
Yeah.
So you walk by, buy the newspaper. That's all you read is the headline.
Yep.
Once again, Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show, the good news and bad news about money. Our guest today is Zach Benson. He's a founder and CEO of Assistagram. And Shane Caniglia, he's the president of Rich Dad Company. And we're talking about how social media and how it influences how you make more money with Assistagram versus Facebook and Instagram, which is confusing to me. But anyway, when we come back with Zach and Shane, we'll be finding out how you too can make more money using Assistagram, which is different than Instagram and Facebook. Any comments, Kim?
No, I want to find out the future. I want to find out Zach's opinion of the future of Facebook. That's what I want to know.
That's how to make more money.
We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Rich Dad Radio Show with Robert Kiyosaki.
What is your number one expense in life? Your number one expense. It's taxes. And I've asked the question is, how come there's no financial education in school, but why isn't there education on taxes either? They tell you to save money, which is stupid. They tell you to invest in the stock market, which is stupid. But won't they teach you about taxes? So here we have Rich Dad advisor Tom Wheelwright. We're talking about his revision for his book, Tax-Free Wealth. Welcome, Tom.
Thanks, Robert.
So what's the tax-free wealth about? What's different this time? It's a revised edition.
Well, so what we did was this is the first major tax reform we've had in 30 years. 2017.
Was 86 was the last one.
86 was the last one back when I was in Washington, D.C.
So many guys got wiped out because of that tax change.
They did. It wiped out an entire industry, savings and loans. This new tax law is just as big, but in a very different way. It affects different industries. You know, the tax law is always a series of incentives. And the question is always which incentives and which ones apply to me. And so the key to revising tax-free wealth was, what changed so much in this new tax law that we can absolutely take advantage of? And seriously, the amazing incentives. For example, the bonus depreciation, for example, for real estate is unbelievable. You buy a $1 million apartment, get a $300,000 deduction or more the very first year.
So if you want to make more money and pay less taxes like Donald Trump and myself, get Tom's book, Tax-Free Wealth.
Don't be like Charlie. Charlie is that do-it-yourselfer who does himself in. Do-it-yourself is good for tile and grout. It is not good for asset protection. Charlie thought he'd save a few dollars forming his LLC online. With no guidance, he did it wrong. When he sold the property, he lost thousands and thousands of dollars. He did himself in by trying to do it himself. Don't burn yourself. Use Corporate Direct to set up and maintain your LLCs and corporations. Corporate Direct is owned and operated by attorney and rich dad advisor Garrett Sutton. Garrett wrote the bestsellers Loopholes of Real Estate and Start Your Own Corporation. He is Robert Kiyosaki's attorney for asset protection. He and his team will do it right. Visit them at corporatedirect.com or call 800-600-1760. Mention Rich Dad and receive $100 off your formation fee. That's corporatedirect.com. corporatedirect.com.
It pays to listen. Now back to Robert Kiyosaki and the Rich Dad Radio Show.
Welcome back, Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show, the good news and bad news about money. And once again, you can listen to the Rich Dad program anytime, anywhere on iTunes or Android. And all of our programs are archived at richdadradio.com. We archive them because we are a financial education company or entrepreneur education company. And one of the ways we learn best is via repetition. So if you listen to this program again, especially if you're like an old guy like me, doesn't know how to get into social media, this program will be worth listening to again. And you can listen to our program at richdadradio.com. All of them are archived. Listen to this again, and then get together with friends, family, especially business associates, and listen to this program on Assistagram. So our guest today is Zach Benson, founder and CEO of Assistagram. His website is www.assistagram.us. And our other guest is Shane Carnegie, he's the president of the Rich Dad Company, of course, Kim and myself. So this is my question, because I have no idea what Facebook is. That's how bad I am. I don't think I've ever been on it. And I've tweeted once. I got in trouble for that. I'll never do that one again.
Don't hit send. Don't hit send.
Don't hit send. I hit send. I got in trouble for that one. And also Instagram. So I'm so far behind the times. I'm not even old. I'm obsolete. I'm antiquated. So my question today is, you have Instagram, Facebook, and Assistagram. And what Zach Benson is, he's hired by companies such as, Ritz-Carlton, which is a little bit bigger than Rich Dad Company. And they have great staff, very smart people. They can pay high salaries and all this. So why would a company like the Ritz-Carlton hire Zach Benson, founder and CEO of Assistagram? And what do you do for them that they can't do for themselves? That's the question. And how do they make more money because they pay you money?
Yeah, I think the reason why they hire us is because I've actually organized really huge influencer marketing campaigns for really big board of tourisms like Dubai Board of Tourism. So
we do one quick thing.
Yeah.
Just explain what an influencer is real quick.
So an influencer is just basically somebody who has a big following and has a lot of influential power to their audience. So, a classic example would be nowadays would be, someone like in the fashion industry like Kim Kardashian, right? And she does all of these different giveaways and these contests for people to gain followers.
And Bernie Sanders, of course.
Yes, and Bernie Sanders.
Beto O'Rourke.
Yes. Go
Well,
Bernie.
and an influencer
And
could be.
AOC.
Yeah.
I mean, they got huge followers.
I mean,
Yes,
you've also got to be
anyone.
careful of your
Yeah.
influencers because, like with Robert, if Robert were to say, "Oh, I recommend this investment," you got to be really careful because he's got a lot of influence and people will
Yep.
flock to that investment.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to
Yeah.
talk about it a little bit because it's quite powerful.
Yeah.
So if you have no followers, don't bother with the system.
Yeah.
You got other problems.
Yeah. And so I think Ritz-Carlton took notice of that just because we helped Dubai Board of Tourism organize their 2020 campaign. So they're on track now to do over 20 million tourist visits by 2020. And so what we helped them do is basically organize what's called an influencer marketing campaign. And so they wanted to target 10 different countries. They're like, we want people from these 10 countries to come and visit Dubai. And so what we did is we reached out to influencers, celebrities, Hollywood A-listers in these countries, and we basically brought them over to create content, to make videos, and to post their experiences on their Instagrams, right? And so
So you guys make the video?
yeah, so those influencers, those people actually made the video.
They make the video.
And then they post it on their profiles, their walls. And so, Ritz-Carlton,
if Dubai thought I could influence tourism to Dubai, I could cut a video here saying, yes, I went to Dubai and it's a great place.
Yeah, so they'd fly you over. They'd fly you out probably business class, first class on Emirates. They'd even, for some of
let's
these
start doing
influencers,
that.
yeah, they actually get paid to post.
I flew to Dubai and Emirates. They have a shower. I never took so many showers on a plane in my life just because I could take a
You
shower
might have
on
a new
plane.
career here.
That was very smart marketing. I should have had a video of me taking a shower. That would have
No,
influenced
I don't think
a lot
so,
of people.
Robert.
Well, you could have been in your put a little shower cap on your robe.
So back to your question, I think a lot of these, the Ritz-Carlton has multiple hotels all over the world, and for them to actually crack the code on all of this new age digital marketing is almost impossible. And so what we do is we actually reach out to some of these other hotels in Asia and Europe and actually help them grow on their Instagram accounts, just because a lot of these companies, they just hire people from like Harvard or like top schools, right? And they think that they know everything about this Instagram and all things digital marketing. But the thing is that in life, it's like there's very few people and companies that can just be like good at everything, right? And so when they hire like one agency, they expect them to do everything. They expect them to be amazing at everything. And that's why a lot of these companies are running into problems, is because they think that this one company or this one person can do everything for them.
Everybody should listen to what Zach is saying. It's one of the biggest mistakes that Kim and I have seen. You hire these so-called college graduates to do your social media and your marketing for you, and they're terrible at it. We had Braze. I mean, they brought in this
Big
high-powered
social media
company, and we lost business because they were so bad. They didn't really
understand the customer,
and they didn't get the spirit of this Braze Island, where Kim and I have a house in South Carolina. They really missed the spirit of the island. Why are we there? And so they had all these kids who can't afford to live at Braze Island promoting Braze Island, and they're all smart kids from top schools, but they really had no idea who their customer was. I mean, so that's why they bring you in, because you find out who their customer really is.
Yeah, we do our research and we figure out who they're really trying to reach, and we reach them through videos and ads, and by growing their Instagrams and by growing their communities, by growing their tribe, and then getting their videos in the right
And
people's
the
hands.
Ritz-Carlton definitely has a different target market than, let's say, Best Western. Right?
Yes.
I'm a Best Western fan.
Yes.
So let's talk about the smaller entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a small entrepreneur. They're starting out, or they've got a small business up and running, and they're like, well, here's Instagram, and in their minds, they can't afford to hire an assistogram, so they're going to do it themselves.
Yeah.
What's the pro and con to that?
Well, the pro,
Nobody wants to spend money, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're a small business. I don't want to spend money. I don't want a bookkeeper. I don't want an accountant. That costs too much. I'll do it myself.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, first starting out, there's a lot of ways that you guys can get results on Instagram. So I just want to maybe teach them a couple of tricks. The main thing is like, beginning with the end in mind, like keeping in mind, like what is the audience that you really want to reach. Now, by using what's called hashtags. Now, you guys have all heard of like Google and SEO, and everybody's trying to rank on the first and second page. So like when they type in, like a product, like whey protein, you see all of these different companies listed on the first page of Google, and they're paying millions and millions of dollars to do that, right? Now, the shift from Google to Instagram is moving faster than ever before. And so Instagram has this search tool bar like Google. So pretty much you can search like fitness supplements, and all of these different companies and whey proteins will be popping up. So what you guys want to do is like when...
And are they paying for that too?
No.
They're not paying for that. Okay.
It's free. So
Okay.
there's a cool way that you guys can do this for free.
You are now paying for it on Google, though,
Yeah,
however.
all through hashtags. So by growing your communities on Instagram, and by using hashtags that have a smaller number of posts, like, let's say 50,000 to 100,000 posts, and using what's called engagement groups, basically getting a group of friends and other people that are in the same niche and market as you to like and comment on each other's photos. And so it's like it's like a group that helps you rank for these different keywords that people are
What's it
searching
called?
for. These are called engagement
Okay,
groups.
so look up engagement groups if you don't know what that means, because I'd
Yes.
have to look that up because I have
Yes.
no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, yes. And so this definitely helps
Who has
people.
time to do all that stuff? Man?
Yeah. That's
It's
why
all
that's
these
why
new, you
that's
got to learn the new terms. It's right.
I can barely
Yeah.
read the headlines of the newspaper.
So the game is to get as many followers into your community so that then you can sell them whatever you want to sell them. Is that the name
Yeah,
of the
The
game?
influencers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the main thing is like it. So there's a few different ways to promote your products. One, I suggest building and growing your own page. Two, working with influencers to promote your product and service, and having them create user-generated content that you can post on your own page. And three is with ads. Using Instagram ads and Facebook ads.
Ads or apps?
Ads, advertisement.
You
money.
also
Well,
said
that costs money, man.
Yeah.
and something else that costs money, but this was really interesting.
Yeah.
You said you can buy like 100,000 followers.
So what my company does is we basically help people grow their accounts organically and through
They're
influencers.
called fake followers, right?
So there's a lot of, so yeah, you just wrote the book Fake. So
that was a plug for my latest book, Fake. There's fake followers.
Very subtle.
There's a
Very
lot of
There's
subtle.
fake followers
a
everywhere.
lot of fakeness, a lot of fake companies out there. We're not one of them. We're actually
That's good to know.
we actually do real stuff, right? And we actually make people real money, and that's why people hire us. That's why companies like Ritz-Carlton hire us. So we grow them and help them monetize.
How did you find a customer for Ritz-Carlton? Like I love the Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to convince me to stay there.
Yeah, and so you've probably heard of people like Rock, Dwayne Johnson,
Right.
all of these guys that are selling their own shoes and different products that they're promoting now. And so what they do is it's all through Instagram. So they pretty much post about their new shoe, their new product on Instagram, and all of their fans buy their new shoe, and they sell out in 24 hours. The same thing is with Ritz-Carlton. Let's say that they're targeting, let's say that we're talking about Ritz-Carlton in Bali, and so that's about 3 hours away from Australia, which is a huge market. So what we would do is basically bring over a bunch of Australian celebrities to come to Bali for free and promote about their experience at the Ritz-Carlton in Bali, and then they would promote it to all of their followers saying, hey, I love this hotel, or I love this restaurant, and pretty much their followers will want to follow them wherever they go.
So you guys, Assistagram would hire, who was that guy who started in The Gladiator, the Australian actor?
Oh, Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. So Russell Crowe's Aussie, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you would get him, and he'd say, "I love the Ritz-Carlton in Bali."
Yeah, that's an example, right? But what we do instead is, instead of putting our eggs all in one basket and paying someone like Russell Crowe would cost millions, we actually find what's called a micro-influencer, people who have, let's say, 20,000 followers to 100,000 followers. and we create an army of them, from Australia, for example, to come and post.
Kim's got 20,000 followers in Australia, and she loves her. It's crazy.
There you go.
Well, Kim?
Well, let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's make a deal. Let's make a deal.
So that's how you do it?
Yeah, so that's one way that we do it.
So why can't the Ritz-Carlton do it by themselves?
Well, the thing is that
Because
they
they went
don't.
to college, right?
Well, so the thing is that there's other pieces to the puzzle, right? So there's about 13 different things that you have to do to create a successful campaign. One is, bringing influencers. One is growing organically. So instead of actually paying for placement to pay these influencers come and post about it, what's better is to create your own Instagram asset. And that's what most of these companies don't know how to do, is they don't know how to grow in-house.
He makes a key point there. It is hard, and I'll say two things. I'll see if you agree with. It's hard to find talent out there now that understands this, number one. And if you do find that talent, most of them
how to make your own little
your
how
little
to
micro
grow
groups
your-
and create all this. And also, most of those people that do really good at it open their own agencies. They usually don't want to be locked down to one company and one job. They want the freedom of that mobile life. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's a little different. It makes recruiting that talent, especially in-house, a lot harder.
And I know we're almost out of time. What's one thing you're going to do for Rich Dad?
Well, we're going to blow up your accounts and get you guys a ton of followers that are actually interested
Real
in
followers.
investing.
Real followers.
That are real people that actually engage. So we're going to help you guys grow your communities on Instagram.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're on. How did you find this gentleman here, Zach?
As I said at the beginning of the show, we are always researching new companies and for new opportunities
Ideas
and new ideas of what
right.
they do and what they offer. And when Zach came across on our just typical due diligence, we were piqued by what he was doing, and not just that, but who he was working for, certainly the Ritz-Carltons and people like that. And his connections and relationships with those platforms were strong with us. And then we go through the normal process where we get on the phone with them. We're big people finders, if you will. I was trying to find a better way to phrase that. And we connected with Zach right away. And
So-
that makes a difference to us.
so
And
that's-
Zach wasn't about just making money.
Yeah,
He
and
wanted
that's
to help us.
One of the reasons Shane is a president of Rich Dad, because I wouldn't know where to look anyway, would I?
No. No.
So that's one of the things today, because today you're obsolete in less than 18 months, I think, a lot of the time.
Yep. You got to keep moving.
Yeah. So all of you out there who are small entrepreneurs with a cell phone, I would contact, how do they get a hold of you there, Zach? I mean, you have www.assistagram.us.
Yeah.
What happens if they call you? Are you going to call them back personally, or
Yeah, exactly.
let's have a following of 20? What would you say to that?
yeah. So you guys can go to the website, and all the information's out there. Just everything from case studies and different brands and companies that we've worked with, and then plus some Instagram tips and tricks that you can actually use. That's free to actually improve your Instagram. So that's the best way to get a hold of us is assistagram.us, and then you can send us a message, and the team will reach out to you.
Thank you. Anyway, Rich Dad, we're not selling for Zach. We just tell you what we do here, because we're in the new sharing economy, and we want to assist all of you guys in becoming as successful as possible. So I thank you for your time, and thank you for doing with Rich Dad. And so we come back, we'll be going with the most popular part of our program, which is Ask Robert.
You're listening to The Rich Dad Radio Show with Robert Kiyosaki.
Don't be like Charlie. Charlie is that do-it-yourselfer who does himself in. Do-it-yourself is good for tile and grout. It is not good for asset protection. Charlie thought he'd save a few dollars forming his LLC online. With no guidance, he did it wrong. When he sold the property, he lost thousands and thousands of dollars. He did himself in by trying to do it himself. Don't burn yourself. Use Corporate Direct to set up and maintain your LLCs and corporations. Corporate Direct is owned and operated by attorney and Rich Dad advisor Garrett Sutton. Garrett wrote the bestsellers Loopholes of Real Estate and Start Your Own Corporation. He is Robert Kiyosaki's attorney for asset protection. He and his team will do it right. Visit them at corporatedirect.com or call 800-600-1760. Mention Rich Dad and receive $100 off your formation fee. That's corporatedirect.com. corporatedirect.com.
Financial freedom begins with financial education. Now back to Robert Kiyosaki and the Rich Dad Radio Show.
Welcome back, Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show, the good news and bad news about money. And all of our programs are archived at TheRichDad@RichDadRadio.com. We archive them so you can listen to this program again, because we're only a financial education company. We don't sell anything but financial education. We don't sell advice or investments. And if you listen to this program one more time, you'll learn twice as much, because repetition is how we learn. But most importantly, if you have friends, family, especially business associates who are looking to make more money on the World Wide Web, this is your program. So once again, that's richdadradio.com. And now we're coming to the most popular part of our program, which is Ask Robert, where you get to ask me your questions, and you can ask Robert again at richdadradio.com. And in the studio with us today is Shane Knigler, who's the president of Rich Dad. And we have Zach Benson, he's the founder and CEO of Assistagram. And Melissa is out for the day. So, Tony, what's the first question for Rich Dad? Ask Robert, excuse me.
Robert, our first question comes from Ty. He's in Crystal Lake, Illinois. His favorite book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He says, I've read all of your books, Robert, but I'm one of your old fans. How has the Rich Dad Company evolved in this age where everybody's attention span is so scattered?
That's a very, very good question. I think the most important thing is you have to, again, use the media that people are listening to and watching to, and it's now short form, like 30 seconds. Right, Shane?
Yes.
And also, I think you have to say something, because, most of the news today is fake. I mean, I listen to it. It's all sensationalism. You watch Fox, they say Fox TV says something, and CNN says exactly the opposite, and you got nothing but shock stuff. So today I look at television and radio and all that. It's like the Jerry Springer show. It's just entertaining, just entertainment today. And, for 2 years ago, Bernie Sanders was considered radical. Bernie Sanders, he was talking about free everything for everybody. Bernie Sanders looks like conservative now, because all the candidates who hope to unseat Donald Trump have to get more radical. So really, you have to say something that actually grabs somebody's attention. Any comments, Rick?
Yeah, I look back on 22 years of Rich Dad. We had companies before that, but, we were when we came out with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, in the back of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it said, send us your name and address, and we will send you a free audio cassette tape. And that's how we started building our database,
People
right?
don't know what audio cassettes are today.
Right. But here's my point, is the audio tape had a lot of value to it. And even to this day, we give away a lot of free information. We just have to do it with different tools and in shorter spurts. And even Zach was saying on your website, assistagram.com or assistagram.us, you give away free tips on how to use Instagram. I think as long as we keep giving value, the tools are going to change on how we do it. I think that's a key point.
And to answer the question, as Shane says, you have to keep looking for the new guy coming up, right?
Yep,
Any
all the
comments
time.
on that?
Yep. Kim and Robert just touched on it. The one advantage Rich Dad has is that we've been saying the same message for years. So we don't have to change our message. It's the platform and the tool we use to get it out there. So we do everything we can to stay on top of that, to find the latest and the greatest, to follow the trends, and to make sure we're, Robert and Kim's gift is to simplify this message and tell it in little blurbs. So actually, today's platforms are a huge benefit to us. So our goal of just keeping on top of things is probably the best answer we can get to that question.
And what Shane is saying is that, you got to be true to your brand. Rich Dad is a contrarian brand. I mean, we're a rebel brand. And just 2 days ago, my friend, is called the governor of Arizona, just signed into law that financial education will now be part of Arizona's school system. Well, this is 22 years after I talked about financial literacy. So our message is now coming true. But I'm not going to go to the school system. I'm still going to be true to my brand. I still think going to school for most people is a waste of time if you want to be rich. You have to be a doctor, a lawyer. You have to go to school. You want to be an employee, you should go to school. But you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to make a lot of money, you really don't have to go to school. Now, if suddenly I went into the school system and I became the new guru for public education, Shane, what would happen to our brand?
It would be fun to watch, actually.
You traitor!
Yeah, it would kill us. It would destroy us.
So I got a question for Zach.
Wait, Zach, you understand that I am true to my brand.
Yeah. I love it. I love
Okay,
it.
like Ritz-Carlton is true to their brand. They don't sell discount hotel rooms, right?
Not at all. Yeah.
The way the Rich Dad Company has evolved, we know what our brand stands for, and we stay true to our brand. We don't, like Kim and I know, there's a couple of these so-called financial experts. They're always changing their message.
Depending on what's most popular at the time.
Yeah, these flaky guys, But anyway, I'll mention their fakey names. But we stay current, but we're true to our brand. So that's one thing that we're doing, but we're changing platforms, looking for the new guy coming up.
Right, and through the evolution, we talk about the evolution. So I want to ask Zach, what is the evolution? What's the future of social media? What do we need to pay attention to and be looking for in the near future?
Yeah, so I think Facebook, Instagram, they're going to be around for a while. These are legendary companies run by legendary people, and they've really created something that's going to be built to last, and they'll be around for a very, very long time. I think you'll start to see maybe some other platforms, just like with AI and different softwares that are coming out, where it's going to be like they're going to create a different way of communication where people can communicate and virtual reality and all of these other things that are coming out.
You're not waiting for us deep fake.
Yeah.
Deep fake. What is deep fake?
Geez, I'm way ahead of Kim now. No, deep fake is you can get, Kim Kardashian speaking to Brad Pitt and saying how much they love Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh, my goodness.
But it's not them speaking. It's just deep. It's fake, right? That's what deep fake is.
Yeah, there's a lot of fakeness out there. So I
It's
think
deep fake.
yeah, that's the deep fakeness. But yeah, I think it's gonna.
So just evolving into more to the virtual reality type platforms, the VR stuff. Is that what you're saying? But do you think that they will? Do you think that those will put a dent in and pull like daily users out of those Instagram and Facebook?
Well, that's why I said Facebook, Instagram will still be around for a very, very long time because they've created their own VR tools and systems.
So they're evolving as part of it too.
Yeah, so those companies are so big that pretty much anytime somebody comes out with something new,
they buy them.
They buy them, or they copy it and make it better.
They
and
steal
twist
it,
and they add their own style to it.
So while speaking of fake, my book Fake was just released on April 8th, 2019, which is 22 years after Rich Dad, Poor Dad was launched. And again, it's true to the brand. Fake money, fake teachers, and fake assets. It's really about how Wall Street rips off the suckers out there, how the banks create fake money, and how our teachers know nothing about money and they're teaching you about kids. So I'm true to my brand. I will not change it. So at your bookstores or Amazon right now, you can get Fake and keep changing because the world is changing. So I want to thank Zach, Shane, and Kim. And you can submit your questions, and all of you can submit your questions to Ask Robert at richdadradio.com. And thank you all for listening to today's program.
We